Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara. Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Gurave Sarvalokanam Bhijaje Bhavaroginam Nidhaye Sarva Vidyanam Sri Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Guru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Gajananam Bhuta Ganadi Sevidam Gavittajambho Balasara Bhakshidam Umasudam Shoka Vinasha Karanam Namami Vigneshwara Pada Pankajam Shuklambaradharam Vishtam Shachivardam Jadarbhajam Prasannavadhanam Dhyaye Sarvavighnopashantaye Vyasam Ashishtanaptaram Shakte Pautramakalmasham Parasharatmajam Mande Shukadhatam Taponidhim Vyasaya Vishnurupaya Vyasarupaya Vishnave Namo Vai Brahmanidhaye Vasishtaya Namo Namaha Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Chaiva Tato Jayamudhiraye Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. So last week we were looking at discussing about marriage to Dhritarashtra, Pandu, and then Vidura. Right. So first Dhritarashtra married Gandhari, who is daughter of the king of Gandhara. Gandhari, on realizing that Dhritarashtra is born blind, she decided to tie her, she blindfold herself for life, right? She tied a cloth on her eyes and blindfolded herself. And then Pandu married Kunti Bhoja's daughter, Prita. Her name is also Kunti. And then he also married sister of Madra, King Madra, king of Madra. He married her as well. Her name is Madri. And he married them. And after that, Pandu went on went to conquer the earth. He went all over the earth, and then he defeated all the kings, and he collected a lot of wealth from that. And then through that wealth, Dhritarashtra performed all the great sacrifices. And then after about some time, Pandu went to forest to take a break, right? He went to take a break, and then we learn about Gandhari's pregnancy. Gandhari, before marriage, she was blessed by Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa that she will have 100 sons, right? And she became pregnant, and unfortunately for her, that pregnancy lasted about 2 years. Okay. And at that time, she heard that Yudhishthira was born to Pandu, Kunti, and in anger, in jealousy, she stuck her stomach and a mass of flesh came out. And at that time, she was about to throw that flesh away. And Vyasa comes there and says that whatever my blessing is about having 100 children, that will not go false. So he asked her to bring 100 pots with ghee in it. And then he asked someone to sprinkle the water over that mass of flesh, and then divided that flesh into 100 pots. He puts them there and then asks Gandhari to wait for it. And then after some time, the children were born. So that's where we stopped last week. So let's look at what happens next. So after some time, so like that Vyasa says, keep these pots like this. And after some time, a son was born, come out of that pot. Okay. That son is called Duryodhana. And he is the first son of Gandhari, but in age, he is younger to Yudhishthira. Okay, Yudhishthira, Kunti's son Yudhishthira, he is younger to them, but he was born on the same day as Bhima was born. Kunti gave birth to another son called Bhima, second son, and Duryodhana was born on the same day. Okay, so when Duryodhana was born, he started screaming like a donkey. Okay, horrible scream. And hearing that sound, the donkeys, vultures, wolves, all the crows, all the creatures, scary and nasty creatures, all of them started screaming as well, making noise. Okay, so what happens is all the inauspicious signs started showing up. Okay, so strong winds started blowing, fire started everywhere. And but with all these things happening, when Dhritarashtra hears about the birth of his son, first son, he calls Bhishma, Vidura, all the Brahmanas and everyone, and then he asks them, I know Yudhishthira was born before him, but I have a son now. Can my son become the king in future? Okay, all his thinking, he already started thinking what's going to happen next, because Yudhishthira is born first. Normally Yudhishthira becomes the king, but what Dhritarashtra here thinking is, he starts thinking that his son should become the king and not Yudhishthira. Okay, but as soon as he starts asking those questions, again, all these inauspicious signs, okay, omens start to grow. At that time, Brahmanas and Viduras, everybody were discussing, and then Vidura informs Dhritarashtra that all these omens at the birth of your son is not good. Okay, that is a sign that he is going to end this race. He is going to be ending all your children. Okay, he is going to kill everybody. He is going to be the reason for everything. Okay, so for your continuation of your generation, you need to abandon this child. Do not care for him, abandon this child. That's what Vidura says. If you keep him, you will repent this. You will grieve for this because of this decision. And then Vidura says that if things are not good, we should leave them away. Like, for example, he gives examples here saying that the wise always says that if in a family one person is bad, it is better to keep that, for the sake of that family, it is better to keep that person away from the family. If a family is bad, okay, for the sake of the village, keep that family away from the village. Okay, keep them away from the village. If a village is away, abandon that village, okay, for the sake of the country. And then Vidura says that for everything, you have Paramatma, to attain Paramatma, even you have to abandon the earth itself. Okay, so starts from our home. Okay, so if something is not right in family, fix it. That's what it says first. If one family in a village is wrong, fix that family. If one village is wrong, fix that village, right? Ultimately, you have to fix yourself to reach Paramatma. That's what Vidura says. But with all the words from Vidura and Brahmanas, King Dhritarashtra did not listen to any of this. Okay, he did not listen because he was very much passionate about his son. So he says that this son is going to live with me. And then within a month, all the other 99 children were also born. All the other children, 99 children, and one daughter was born. Okay, total 101. So 100 sons and one daughter was born out of those pots. At the same time, while Gandhari was pregnant, Dhritarashtra had another son through a Vaishya woman. Okay, a Vaishya woman, he had a son called Yuyutsu. Okay, so total Dhritarashtra had 101 sons, 100 through Gandhari, 1 through a Vaishya woman, okay, and one daughter. Okay, so total 102. So Yuyutsu, because he was born of a Kshatriya man and a Vaishya woman, he was called Karna. Okay, Karna is not the Karna character you see here about in Mahabharata. Karna is like a class. Okay, so when a Kshatriya man and a Vaishya woman give birth to a child, that child is classed as Karna. Okay, so Yuyutsu here is classed as a Karna. So 100 childs were born and a daughter, I said. Okay, now the question here, Vaishampayana listening to Janamejaya, listening to Vaishampayana asked, Gandhari was blessed with 100 sons. How did this daughter was born? Okay. At that time, Vaishampayana explains that when Vyasa was dividing that mass of flesh of Gandhari's, whichever Gandhari gave birth to, into 100 parts, Gandhari was thinking, I have 100, I'm going to have 100 sons. It would be so nice if I had one daughter, youngest daughter, to all of them as a sister to play with them. And my husband also, he's going to love that daughter, and he is also going to attain heaven through that daughter, because giving away daughter, that is one of the Mahadana, that's one of the gift that a father can do. Okay, that's the one of the best gift a father can do. So at a wedding of daughter, so it's important. So she was thinking, and also Gandhari here thinks that women always, they always very much affectionate, show their affection to their son-in-laws. I don't know about this, but Gandhari says like that. Okay, women always have more affection to their son-in-laws than their sons. So Gandhari here likes that. She was thinking that if I have done anything good, if I have served the Brahmanas through my service to Brahmanas, if I've taken care of all my superiors, if I've done all that, let me have a son. Okay, let me have a daughter, please. So she was thinking like that. She did not say. Vyasa realizing that, he says that, okay, you will have a daughter as well. Bring one more pot of ghee, and then he puts a piece of flesh in that potter as well. And that's how the 101st child was born. And she was the daughter of Gandhari. Her name was Dushala. Okay, so we have 100 sons and then a daughter born. Now, Vaishampayana explains, gives the names of those 100 sons. Who are those sons? Okay, so I'm not going to read 100 sons' names here. Okay, so it starts with some of the key names. Divya, I'm going to keep you muted. Okay. So we 100 sons, I'm just going to say Duryodhana. You will hear some of these names. All the names you will hear when the Mahabharata war comes. Bhima kills one after another. But so in between, you will hear the names about Duryodhana. Yuyutsu, obviously the one born of a Kshatriya Vaishya woman. Dushasana, who is Duryodhana's favorite. Okay. Dusaha, and then there is Vikarna, the important name Vikarna. The reason Vikarna is important because when Pandavas were sent to forest later in Mahabharata story, and when the war about to start, he advises Duryodhana to not to do all those things. Okay, he is of a very good character. Okay, there are like that. So there are 100 sons, and then obviously there is Dushala. All these sons were as strong as their father. Okay, like Dhritarashtra already had 1,000 elephant strength. Okay, all these sons were similar strength, and they were Atirathas. Atirathas, Maharathas, like that. There are warriors were classed as Atirathas, Maharathas, different classes. Okay, Atiratha means, again, Maharatha means how many chariots they can go, how many cars they can jump. So if in a war, for example, in a battle, their chariot gets damaged, they will have a backup on their side. Immediately they will jump onto that, and before someone pierces them with the arrow, they will jump onto another chariot and then continue their fight like that. So there are Atirathas, Maharathas, and different classes. You will again learn more about this when we go into yuddha for war status. Okay, when we go into the later chapters. So Dushala was the daughter. Dhritarashtra married her to king of Sindhu called Jayadratha. Okay, Dhritarashtra's son-in-law's name is Jayadratha. Again, you will hear there is a huge chapter section in Mahabharata about Jayadratha. Okay, later in the Mahabharata. So an important character in Mahabharata war. Now we come to Pandu section. So just to recap, what happened, what I said was Pandu, after conquering the world, he got married. After 30 days, he went on a world conquest, and after conquering the world, he went to the forest to take a break, right? We did not discuss what happened in the forest. Okay, we discussed what happened in the Hastinapura. Gandhari gave birth to 101 children, right? So that's what we looked. Now let's go back to that story. What happened when Pandu, Kunti, and Madri went on a holiday in the forest? Okay, so Pandu with Kunti and Madri, he was enjoying his life in the forest because Dhritarashtra was sending all the things he needs. He was sending all that to forest. So Pandu was enjoying his time. One day when he was out in the forest hunting, he sent 5 arrows on a large deer. Okay, that deer was with a female companion. Okay, its female companion. So that deer actually was a rishi. Okay, of great ascetic merit. So he was in the form of a deer. He was with his female companion. Pandu did not know this. He stuck the arrow, and then that deer started weeping and says that unnecessarily you put arrow through me. But Pandu says killing deers is allowed for kings. Okay, there is no sin attached to it because previously Rishi Agastya declared that kings can kill deers. Okay, there are some animals are allowed to be killed by kings and kshatriyas. So this again, there is a story which comes in Parva later in Mahabharata why Agastya did that. So Pandu explains that it is allowed, so it is not a sin. I did this, and then, but the rishi says that I was having good time with my female companion in the form of a deer. At that time, you pierced me. Okay, you did not give me any warning, and you just pierced me when I was having good time and having my best time here. And because of that reason, I am going to curse you that whenever you have connection with or when you touch your wife or your any females, at that time you will die. So he curses that whenever you touch a female, at that time you will die. So that rishi, that deer, rishi's name was Kindama. So he curses Pandu, and Pandu was, and that deer dies there, and Rishi Kindama dies. But Rishi Kindama at that time also says that because you did not know that I was a Brahmana, you just try to kill a deer, you will not get the sin of killing a Brahmana. But your sin is you tried to kill when I was in a companion with a female. Okay, so that's the sin. So that's why he curses Pandu that he will die if he ever reaches a female. Okay, female companion. So Pandu with that became very much, he started it, he plunged into, he started, he plunged into grief because he was very much worried. Okay, so next Pandu with that, because he, even though without his knowledge, he killed a Brahmana, and also he did a mistake. He decides that he himself decides that he is no longer fit to continue as a king, right? So just to tell the story. So Pandu was the king. He conquered the earth. He went to forest on a holiday. Okay. He went on a holiday. While he was on a holiday break, he killed this. Okay. He was still a king, but what he did was, when he went to forest, he told Dhritarashtra, you look after the kingdom while I am away. Okay. So Pandu is still the king, but what he says is he will no longer continue as the king because he killed a Brahmana. Okay. And he made a mistake. That's why, just for his pleasure, he killed a deer, and that too when it was with his female companion. And that deer, unfortunately for him, was a Brahmana as well. Okay. So he says that he is going to live the life of brahmacharya, a mode of brahmacharya. Brahmacharya is like without female companions. He's going to live entire like brahmacharya. There are 4 modes of life. Okay, life. There are 4 stages in the life. First, brahmacharya, where someone goes into guru's house and studies. The second one is grihastha, when one is married and looks after the children and their guests who are coming home and everything else. The third one is vanaprastha. That means somebody leaving everything. Okay, after around age 1, the hair becomes gray and children are ready to get married. It says that one should go to forest. Okay, so they go to forest, leave everything they have accumulated wealth and everything, go to forest. That's vanaprastha. And the last one is sannyasa. Even in forest, they have a house during vanaprastha, but sannyasa means they don't even have house. They leave everything and then just start wandering and leave one begging. Okay, so that is vanaprastha, sannyasa, last ashram. Here, brahmacharya is what Pandu says he's going to do, and he explains how brahmacharya should be. Okay, he explains that passions should be under full control. Okay, he will. Divya, why are you doing annotation? Which story are we talking about, Divya? Why did Pandu make a brahmacharya vow? Can you unmute and answer? Okay, so he says that Pandu says that he will give up his wives and all the other things. He will shave his head. He will wander all over the earth begging for his food. He will take no shelters. He will take shelters under trees or deserted homes or anything like that. He will not be sorrow. He will not enjoy. He will not see difference between sorrow or joy. He will not, if somebody praises him, he will not be glad. If somebody says something nasty to him, he will not be sad. Whatever happens, he will take everything in the same like. Okay, and he will again go for begging to maximum to say 5 or 10 families. He will not go to begging to the same family. So all these are rules of brahmacharya. Okay, he says, I'm going to live a life like this. And once he says that, he informs Kunti and Madri. Okay, and he informs that his mother Dhritarashtra Satyavati, his mother, who is Pandu's mother. Who is Pandu's mother? Anyone? No, remember? Yeah, Pranil.
Pandu's mother was Ambalika?
Good. Amba, Ambika, Ambalika, if you remember, right? Okay. Dhritarashtra, Vidura, Satyavati, Bhishma, Brahmanas, everyone. Okay. He informs them that he is retired into the forest. Okay. And Kunti and Madri says that they will also join with him. Okay. They will also not go to Hastinapura back. They will also go and they will also live with them and they will also do whatever Pandu does. Okay. And Pandu agrees that he will again live in the mode of life of a vanaprastha in forest life, and he will, like he again explains the mode of how to live that life. Okay, he will abandon all the luxuries, he will have tree barks and leaves as his clothes, he will live on fruits and roots, he will wander all over the deep forest, he will take bath in the morning and evening, he do the prayers, homas, pujas, everything, and he will fast, he will reduce his body just like a small, just to survive, nothing more. Okay, he will do penance. Okay, so all these things he says he will do that. And then Pandu gives away all the jewelry, everything he had with him. When he went to forest, he went like a king, right? So he had all those things. He gives away all those things. And his wives also give everything they had, give away all those things. And then Pandu asks his attendants who were there at that time in the forest, he asks them to return to Hastinapura and inform everyone. Okay, inform everyone that Pandu has retired to the forest. He retired to the forest with his wives. Attendants who were there with Pandu, all those people, they were in tears, but they returned to Hastinapura and informed Dhritarashtra everything that happened. What all things happened? Rishi Kindama, Pandu went on a hunting trip. He pierced a deer. That deer was a rishi called Kindama. Kindama cursed him. And because of that, Pandu decided to retire to woods. Okay. So Dhritarashtra hears that and he was very sad. Okay. He continuously cries. And then while that was happening, Pandu with his wives, he goes after one after another mountains. He crosses many, many mountains. Okay. Nagashada, he goes to Chitraratra, Kalakuta, okay, all this, and then Himavat, Gandhamadana, all these mountains he crosses. He goes to Indradyumna lake, okay, Hansashuka mountain, and then finally he reaches Shatashringa. Shatashringa, Shata is 100, Shringa is peaks, okay, 100 peaks, the mountain with 100 peaks. So he reaches that. So here, the lake Indradyumna, you will hear about other mountains later. So Lake Indradyumna, it is not explained in Mahabharata in detail, but Lake Indradyumna, Indradyumna was a king, okay, so just going off track here. So Indradyumna was a king. He is the king who built Puri Jagannatha temple. Okay, he installed Jagannatha in Puri. So when Indradyumna was going towards Puri Jagannatha, so he to install to see Vishnu there. When he was going, he donated. He was asked by Narada to do horse sacrifice. Okay, Ashwamedha Yajna. He did that and he gave away lot of gift, cows and wealth to Brahmanas. Okay, he gave away so many cows that by cows walking in that path from their hoof, the soil came off and it itself became a huge lake-like place. Okay, such a deep place. And Indradyumna, while giving the gift of those cows, every time when somebody gives a gift, dana, they will pour water. Okay, water and tulsi, they will give, and then through that they give the gift. The water he poured filled in that lake, and then that became a Indradyumna lake. Okay, imagine how much gift he must have given for the cows' hooves to create that lake, and how much water he must have give every spoon. Every time you give 2 spoons of water. Okay, if a lake must have been filled by that water, how much gift he would have given. So that's why Indradyumna lake is very famous. Okay, and in Puranas, for example, like Skanda Purana, it says that anyone taking bath in Indradyumna lake, all the sins will go away and they will attain Vaikunta, Vishnu Loka. Okay, just coming back to here, Mahabharata. Pandu crosses all the mountains and he reaches Shatashringa, a place called Shatashringa, where all the rishis were doing penances. Okay, so Pandu reaches that place, and then Pandu was there with all those rishis, and after very short time, all the rishis, they are living there. Pandu became their favorite. Okay, he served them with devotion. He did services to them, and he was there. He became their favorite. Okay, Pandu was living life like a rishi there, and some rishis called him brother, some called him friend, some called him rishi himself. Okay, and some elderly rishis called him, treated him like their son. He became their favorite, and he was living like a rishi. Okay, and through his penances, he even became like a brahmarshi. Brahmarshi is something, a rishi who knows Brahma. Brahma means not God Brahma, Deva Brahma Deva, but he knows the Paramatma, okay, ultimate Paramatma. So one day, the rishis in that place, Shatashringa, they say that they are going to go to Brahmadeva's abode. Okay, they are going to go there because there is a gathering taking place with Lord Brahma. All the rishis were heading there. But Pandu says he also wishes to go there, but he can't go. Okay, the reason he can't go is because people who do not have children, Shastra says that who do not have children, sons, they cannot discharge their duties. Okay, everybody is born with mainly with 3 runas. Runas means depths. Okay, so everybody is born with 3 debts. Okay, so we have to clear them. So 3 debts are rishi, okay, debt to rishis, and debt to God, and debt to our ancestors. Okay, so the debt, whatever we have to rishis, is cleared by learning from the rishis and brahmanas. Okay, that's how it's cleared. Debt to gods, devatas, devaruna, is cleared by doing pujas, homas, sacrifices, all those things. And debt to our ancestors, pitrus, is cleared. Pitruruna is cleared by having children, and those children offering the pinda. Okay, shraddhas and pinda and all those things. By doing that, continuing the generation, family, then dynasty, then only the Runa is cleared. Pandu says because he does not have children, he will not be allowed to heaven, to go to heaven. Okay, he says, I am not yet freed from this debt of ancestor. I have cleared my rishi runa. I have learned everything. I did my services to rishi, so I'm cleared. I did so many sacrifices, so my deva runa is also cleared. But my pitru runa, which is my ancestors, debt to my ancestors, that's not cleared. Okay, so Pandu, when he says, can somebody bless me with children? Okay, for my wives. When he asks, the rishi says that you have to think carefully. If you think carefully, you will find a way out of this. Okay, so the rishi says that, and rishis head towards Brahmaloka. They will head to see Brahma. Okay, so what Pandu does next? Let's look at that next week. So today we looked at what happened, right? So Gandhari gave birth to 101 children, 100 sons, 1 daughter called Dishala. First Duryodhana was born, then the Dushasana, and so on. Dhritarashtra had another son as well called Yuyutsu. So Dushala was born because Gandhari wanted to have a daughter as well. So that's why 101, 100 sons, 100 children become 101. And then here Pandu, while he was in the forest, he killed a deer, which was a rishi, and he got cursed. And because of that, he decides to live life in the forest. And then Pandu leaves everything and continues in his forest. And he realizes that he does not have children. That's why he's not cleared his debt. Okay. And how he's going to have his children, we'll look at that next week. Any questions? We got about 3 minutes, if any questions. Yes, Ram or Vaishnavi.
It's Rishi. You know when you said that when the rishis have to go to Brahma, is it rishis from Earth?
Yeah, rishis from Earth. They were all in the Shatashringa. They were all doing penance at Shatashringa, and they were going to Brahmaloka, Brahma's
Thank
word.
you.
Any others? Questions? Okay, if nothing else, we will close today and we will see you again next week. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.